Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I'm going to show you how you can connect up your nice new Nintendo Switch to a VGA monitor or a VGA TV. Now when you get your Switch and you have a look at the back of it, you will see that it's got HDMI ports rather than VGA or composite or component ports. So the only way to connect it up is if you've got HDMI on your monitor or your TV. Now your monitor might only have a VGA connection, or your TV might be old and it might only have VGA. If you're wondering about the differences, this one here is the HDMI that you get with the Nintendo Switch, and this is a VGA, so you can see it's quite different. Now HDMI is digital and VGA is analog, but you can still get a good picture out of the VGA connector. In fact, you can get 1080p out of the VGA, and the Switch will only go up to 1080p when it's docked anyway, so there's nothing actually wrong with using the VGA. Now it is actually very cheap to convert it. All you need to do is get yourself one of these adapters, and I'm going to set it all up for you to show you how easy it is. I got this adapter off eBay for $4.99, and it's a HDMI male to a VGA female. So really cheap, and it's also got a 3.5mm port to take the sound out, because with HDMI you get sound and picture through the one cable, but with VGA you only get picture, so you need to have a separate outlet for the sound. So you're going to have to either plug in a headphone jack if you just want to sit near it and use your headphones, or plug in some speakers. So you're going to need to get a 3.5mm jack, which is quite common when it comes to the speakers. You just have the speakers with a 3.5mm jack and they will plug into the adapter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up and then show you the picture and stuff like that. So first things first, let's go to the back of the Nintendo Switch and we open up the little door. And we're going to remove this HDMI cable because in this setup we don't need it. So what we have to do is we have to get our little adapter and we're going to plug it in to the bottom port here, which is the HDMI port, and plug it in there like so, and that's it. That's all we have to do. Now you're going to struggle to get it to fit in the back here because this is quite a bulky adapter, so you are going to have it sticking out. So then close up the door and that's the back of it done. Now on the monitor, as you can see with this monitor, I've only got two connectors at the back. One is the power connector here and the other is the VGA cable here. So we've just got two connectors, there's no other connectors. Obviously if you had something like a DVI connector, then you could get an HDMI to DVI lead and that would work really easily, and they're really cheap as well. So that's the back of that. So what we'll do is we get our VGA cable here and we just plug it in to the adapter, and you can do these little thumb screws up here just to make it nice and secure. And already you see that it has come up on screen, but we still haven't got any sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the 3.5mm from my speakers. These are old speakers. These speakers are probably around 15 years old now, but they still work absolutely fine. And I'm going to plug that into the line out of the adapter down here. And that is it. That's it set up. Now we will have to change the settings because at the moment it is on automatic. And the problem is, this monitor here is quite an old monitor. It only goes up to 720p, and it was a cheap monitor in the first place. If your monitor or if your TV can do 1080p, then it will work fine. It won't say out of range, you can just leave it at that. At the moment I've got the TV output on the Nintendo Switch set to automatic, and it's saying out of range because I think it's trying to do 1080p. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to change the settings to 720p because that's all this monitor can handle. Obviously if yours is working fine, just leave it. So what we need to do is we need to go down to System Settings here, System Settings, and we need to press A. I'm just going to turn my speakers on so you can hear the sounds. So when I move around the place, you can hear the sound coming out. Right, so we need to go down to TV Output. And at the moment it says TV resolution up here is set to automatic. I'm going to have to change that to 720p. So I'm going to hit A. And now if I go down to 720p, it will go blank, and then when it comes back on you will see that the out of range has gone. So for example, if I was to go back to 1080p, you will see it will come up with out of range again because my monitor can't quite handle it. So let's go back to 720p. Now, if for example when you do this you find that it's blank and there's nothing happening at all, then what I would suggest is to take the tablet out of the dock, because the Nintendo Switch might think that it's working, so it might be pushing the picture through to here, but yet you can't see it. So the best thing to do would be to take the tablet itself out of the dock and then physically change it yourself. So where it says TV resolution, if you're unsure, maybe put it down to 780p. Because that's the lowest resolution, and put it back in and then see if your monitor can handle that. So now it's come up, and you probably might not be able to see from that distance on the camera, but it's a grainy image. It's not a very sharp, crisp image at all. But now you know that at least your setup is working, so you can see that your sound is working and that you're getting picture there when you put the Switch into the dock. And if that works, then take it out again. Go to TV resolution and try the next one up, 720p, and then put it back in. So if the automatic settings doesn't work, then try the manual settings at 480 and 720, and even try 1080, because if it doesn't work, it's no problem. It's not like an Xbox or a PlayStation where then you have to go to a separate TV or do a hard reset of it, because every time you pull this out, it's going to revert back to the screen here. So in this setup, it is actually really easy to do. So try 1080, and if it doesn't work, you just take it out and knock it back to 720 again. There we go. So it works absolutely fine. And remember, 720 is still HD. It's still a HD picture, it's just not full HD. And most people would be quite happy with this setup here. They'd be quite happy with the picture. So if I was to go to Zelda, you can see there that the picture's still nice. Because remember, when you're actually playing it on the handheld version, it's only 720p anyway. It only gets brought up to 1080p when it's plugged into the dock. So 720p is still workable. So if you've got an old TV and you're thinking, well, I can't quite afford to get a new one yet, or if it's, for example, up in a bedroom and you don't want to go out and buy a new TV, at least you know you can still play your Nintendo Switch on an older monitor or TV by just spending $4.99 this adapter was. They have them in eBay and Amazon. So what I'll do eventually, when I get this video up onto my website, I will put a little link to this adapter to allow you to buy it. I personally don't sell them, but loads of them are about. If you just type up HDMI to VGA adapter, you will see it, and just make sure that it's got the little 3.5mm port to bring the sound out of. Now another way, if you haven't got speakers, and this isn't going to work if you're playing things like 1-2 Switch, but if you're just going to be using it for Zelda and games like that, you can just plug your headphones straight into here, and as you can see now, the sound's not coming out of here anymore, it's now coming out of the headphones. So if you've got a decent gaming headset, you can plug it in there and just work with that. You might be happy with that. Obviously if you're using 1-2 Switch and you're using the Joy-Cons to do different games against each other, then you don't want to have the headphones in your ear because you're going to be limited by the lead, and also it's going to be uncomfortable. But again, it might be fine for playing games like Zelda, so you might not even have to rush out and get the speakers. So I hope you found that video useful. Please give it a thumbs up if it's helped you out, and please subscribe for more videos. Take care, bye now.